A very good evening to all of you. In this today's class, we will try to learn the concept of privacy policy. You must have drafted this policy. If you work with some IT company or somewhere, you must have accepted the terms and condition of privacy policy of, let's say, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, etc. and etc. So what is this privacy policy? Most important concept for everyone. Let me share one example with all of you to understand the basic purpose of the privacy policy. Just a second. Yes. So in front of you, there is a policy of Twitter. Yes, tweet karo. There is a policy of Twitter, the privacy policy. But first of all, to understand this privacy policy, let me tell you one thing. Recently, the issue of privacy is very critical. Maybe you don't remember the exact idea, but for example, if you write something on the Google, so after some time, you will start seeing the same advertisement again and again. Don't you think that your data is being processed by some another person? Yes. So recently, one bill was introduced. Who would like to tell me the name of that bill? Anyone? Yes. Anyone? One bill was formulated with respect to the privacy laws. What was the name of that bill? No idea. Yes, Harucha.
Personal Data Protection Bill.
Very nice. Personal Data Protection Bill 2000. Yes, 2000.
19.
19. Very तेज आवाज आई. Okay, 2019. Now let me tell you the basic concept with respect to that. See, there is one definition of personal data. Now, it is most important to figure out what is personal data. As per the bill, personal data cannot be stored, cannot be processed, cannot be disseminated. So what is the meaning of all these three terms? What I said, personal data cannot be stored, the first thing. Second thing, cannot be processed. And third thing, cannot be disseminated with another person. That is the most important point as of now. Without the consent of me. For example, if I am making the account on Google, Facebook, Twitter, Orkut, etc., you must have signed, you must have accepted the terms and condition of privacy agreement, or I can say privacy policy. In that policy, everything will be written. For example, which information they are taking from you, how this information will be stored with that person, how this information will be used by the person through which this information is being taken. So all these things will be mentioned in one policy, and the name of that policy is privacy policy. It is very mandatory for all the companies who take the inputs from any person, let's say, who take the personal data from person. It is very mandatory for that to have privacy policy. So the scope is very wide. Sir, one question for you. If we are drafting the privacy policy, what we have to remember in that case? Let me show you one document as of now. Just a second. If you are drafting the privacy policy of any IT company or any company, let it be, what you have to remember, you should know the Indian Contract Act. I will let you know the exact point. Second thing is you should know IT Act 2002. No, this is not 2000. This is not 2002. I get this is 2000. Furthermore, Article 21 of the Constitution of India. So why we have to remember Article 21? Anyone would like to tell me? Yes, sir. Article 21.
The
That is
right to privacy.
Right to
right to
privacy.
privacy. Correct. That is why it is most important, because right to privacy is our fundamental right again. Furthermore, beta, nowadays I still remember in my family also, in my known also, various IT professionals who are into the compliances were very upset when this personal data protection bill was passed. Sir, why? Because there are various compliances for a company who is taking the inputs from, let's say, another person. If a company is taking a personal data of a customer, of any person, it is mandatory for them to appoint a grievances officer also. It is mandatory for them to draft a privacy policy also. That is why the scope is very wide. So, sir, I have again a doubt. If we got one assignment to draft a privacy policy, what should be our key important areas in that? For that, let's try to understand the privacy policy of Twitter, the most important as of now, and it is also in the news also. Let me tell you this. We believe you. We believe, Komana Cheta, you should always know what data we collect from you. Most important point. In every privacy policy, it has to be clearly mentioned what data you are collecting from general persons. So what data we are collecting from you, that is most important to write upon. And how we use it, again, but this is most important. For example, if one company is obtaining the personal information of some another person, how this data will be used by that company. Let me again tell you one practical example. In our company also, in my client companies also, there is a concept of biometric attendance. Please, as per your opinion, do let me know whether this biometric attendance is a personal information, yes or no. Please
Yes,
do
sir.
let me know.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
It is a personal information. And if it is a personal information, don't you think that it is now a very big problem for a company who is taking the attendance in the form of biometric? I still remember I used to get a call at 2 a.m. also. He said, what should we do after the formulation of personal data protection bill? Because there is again a compliance for on these companies. There is a huge compliance on all these companies who stores the personal information. So for example, if one company, let's say Reliance Industries, is taking the attendance in the biometric form, this is a personal data and this has to be protected. This has to be protected. And they have to obey with the guidelines, obey with the regulation, obey with the act policy of the personal data protection bill as of now. Information technology, Indian Contract Act, etc. and etc. But now, first of all, if you are drafting the privacy policy, you will write two things as of now, which information you are collecting from the general public and how this information will be used later on. Second thing. So, the third thing, furthermore, and that you should have meaningful control. So, what is the meaning of meaningful? This is most important. This is the interpretation. This is the interpretation. So why the Twitter company has written a word meaningful here? For example, if I strike down this meaningful word, will it create some difference? Any student would like to have a debate with me. If I just write down the meaning of meaningful, whether it will create some impact on the interpretation, yes or no? Yes, anyone would like to try? Prabhat said yes. Yes, Prabhat. What will be the impact if I strike down this meaningful? Yes. Anyone? Aditya?
Sir,
Yes, Prabhat.
yes, sir. Meaningful means, sir, that how that the first thing, meaningful control. Meaningful means how we collect data, and what data we collect and how we use it. So meaningful control means what data you, as a customer, what data I give the company. And if company says that I have this data of you with us, and we use this data in attendance, in advertising you, and all, for other things. So if I don't want to be get advertisement on behalf of that data, so I will restrict down that I do not want get advertisement. And suppose that my personal data is with WhatsApp, and WhatsApp said I will share it with Facebook. So if I strike down that do not share it with Facebook, so WhatsApp will WhatsApp will not share my data. That is the meaningful control. And a control, only control means that I can only see what data I have shared and how they use it. And if I don't want to with them, so I strike down completely, I think.
Okay. Very nice, Prabhat. Well tried. Yes, Lidya, you want to say something with respect to that?
Yes, sir. At the end of the day, the ultimate decision is left to the user who's going
Hmm.
to.
Right.
So that's what the meaning of meaningful control is.
The ultimate decision is left with the user itself, right?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yes. Any other student? Muskan, you want to say something?
Yes, I think meaningful control, by that term they mean that till the time it's not violating the person's right of privacy, the company can use the data. And if there is a violation in the right of privacy, then we can take action, something like that.
Okay. So, as per your opinion,
Um,
any company can use the personal data, right?
We need to give consent for that.
Okay. And how we will
Sir,
give
I
the
feel
consent? Yes. 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 Please go ahead.
so meaningful control means I feel matlab taking an informed decision, like matlab privacy policy mein whatever they have written, and if we say yes, so we are having like we are taking an informed decision and having like control over it after like being aware of after having complete awareness of whatever is written in that.
So, what is the relevance of meaningful then? We can write control. Yes. Yes,
It's
Archana?
having reasonable control, like full control to will not have.
Okay.
It's
So, you
having
want to
like
say, sir, we are not inclining to give the full control. We are
hmm,
inclining to give the reasonable control. That's why
yeah,
we have written the meaningful word, right?
yes, like after understanding the terms and conditions and taking an informed decision and having reasonable control over मतलब just थोड़ा हिस्से तक का control, like you don't have complete control over it, but only like reasonable control over whatever they have mentioned, like whatever data will be shared over that, like not a
Okay.
complete control.
Not a complete control, but yes, we can have a reasonable control, right?
Yes.
What reasonable control we will have? Any idea? What reasonable control we will have in this case? Prabhat, Muskan, Ashna. Yes. What type of control we will have in this case? Let me give
Sir,
you one example.
it is
Yes. Yes,
Yes, sir.
Prabhat?
It is, sir. It is depend upon interpretation of reasonable. What is reasonable?
Ah.
So, for me, it is for me as a customer. I say कि मतलब कि I should have right to be forgotten. So, right to be forgotten means the data I have shared with the company. I want the company to delete that data from that database. So, I will say कि that is reasonable for me, reasonable control for me, and company will say that is not reasonable for them. So it is depend on interpretation. I think what is reasonable
So in
control.
privacy policy, meaningful control, matlab, I feel like they are saying ki if you're okay with the terms and conditions, then you can go ahead. And if you're not, then we don't have an option. So I think that is meaningful control. Like if we are aware, like after reading it, if we are okay with it, we have that control over it to proceed with that. And if we are not, then we'll not be able to so it's not a complete control, like they also have some level of control over it. Like if we are not okay with the terms and policies, they will not allow us to proceed, and if we are okay with it, then we can proceed. So like reasonable control, like they also have thoda portion of control with them, and we also have some with us.
Okay, let me give you one practical real life example. Please do let me know. आपको क्या लगता है? If you don't have the LinkedIn paid subscription, please, जो भी आप लो पढ़ो ना, सोचा करो practically कैसे लगा है. So if you don't use the LinkedIn paid subscription, somehow you must have seen that your profile was viewed by this person. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
But if you don't use or if you don't have the paid subscription, will you able to check who was that person?
Often at times, yes.
Don't you think that this is your right? Who
Yes.
checked your profile? This is your privacy. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
So why no legal action is being taken against LinkedIn in that case? Socho. Anyone would like to give me the answer? Yes. If we don't use the LinkedIn paid subscription, if you don't have the LinkedIn paid subscription, for example, my students also, they don't have the LinkedIn paid subscription. And once some people view their profile, it is written 7 people viewed your profile. But once I click on that, I will see no one. They will say, please take this subscription. Then only you will able to see. Don't you think that this is my right? My privacy is being violated because we have consented. Yes.
Because we have accepted the terms and condition, and this might be one of their term and conditions.
Have you checked the LinkedIn privacy policy?
No, sir.
No,
But
sir.
of course, this might be the thing.
Okay. Prabhat said no. Okay. Don't you think that it is very common? An example, real life practical example is in front of you. And actually, there is a clause in the LinkedIn privacy policy. And they have written that's you will not be able to see who have viewed your profile if you don't have the paid subscription. And once you log in into this LinkedIn profile, you accepted all the terms and conditions, fortunately or unfortunately.
Yeah.
So that is why this is most important. Meaningful, sir, we don't have any control. If you don't have the paid subscription, do you have the control to see who has viewed your profile? The answer is no. Still, because you have consented the same, there is no action against the LinkedIn again. But yes, this is a clear right of infringement, you can say, clear right of violation, you can say. But yes, you have consented, and there is a simple maxim, volenti non fit injuria. What does it mean? Consent is not, you can say, volenti non fit injuria. याद है किसी को? Not remembers. Consent agar jahan par hai, there is a defense.
That's right.
Okay, so let me again move further. Okay, now see this. This is again most important. That's the basic purpose of this privacy policy. So in layman language beta, the purpose of privacy policy is to make the general public aware what kind of information the company is taking from you, how this information will be processed in the future, how this information will be used by the company, and yes, furthermore, how a person can control on this information. So all these things will be mentioned in the privacy policy. This is again most important. You should read this policy in full. But here are a few things we hope you take away from most important. But you may just read it. This is not very much important. Yes, information you share with us. It means better what kind of information they are taking from you. Now, we require certain information to provide our services to you. For example, आपका account होना चाहिए to upload or share content on Twitter. When you choose to share the information below with us, now see this, we collect and use it to operate our services. But let me show you one important thing. Most important, when you use Twitter, even if you are just looking at tweets, for example, if I am not tweeting anything from my ID, I am just referring to the tweets, we receive some personal information from you, like the type of device you are using. Okay, iPhone, Mac, etc., 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 Android, and your IP address. You can choose to share additional information with us, like your email address, phone number, address book contact, public profile, etc., and etc. Now, so how this information will be used by the tutor, that is again most important thing. And you will be surprised to know. See this beta. We use this information for things like keeping your account secure. Okay, no problem in that. And showing relevant tweets. This is important. People to follow, events and ads. बड़े शैतान लोग हैं बेटा ये. Ads को इनको पहले लिखना चाहिए था, but they have written the ads in the later part. That is why if you have, let's say, Google something that I want to buy this phone, in the Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, not the LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere, you will start seeing the advertisement with respect to that product. Just because beta, they will show you the relevant ads. So there is a concept of cookies. Yes, so what is the meaning of cookies? Let me tell you, very most important concept, but we will learn all this concept one by one. Furthermore, beta, see this. In addition to information you share with us, we use your tweets, content you have read, liked, retweeted, and other information, what they will use to determine what topic you are interested in. आपकी क्या age है, आप क्या language बोलते हो, what the language you speak, and other signals to show you more relevant content. We give you transparency into that information, and you can modify or correct it at any time. It means beta, that is a clear, you can say it is clearly written that how they use your information. Now let me show you PDP, Personal Data Protection Bill. And if you see this, the definition of personal data, you will see personal data means data about or relating to a natural person. For example, उसकी क्या characteristics हो सकती है, feature क्या है, जिससे for example any information through which the identity of a natural person can be obtained. That is known as personal data. But there is again a definition of sensitive personal data. For example, with a password. For example, biometric data. Yes. What is my caste? What is, let's say this is, let's say, health data. Yes. and my financial data. As per the definition, this is a sensitive personal data. But yes, I can say biometric data is again a sensitive personal data. They have classified the data into the two domains, personal data and sensitive data. The compliances of these are different. The compliances of personal data is different. The compliances of sensitive personal data is different. So I hope you must have understood. Now see this, just a second, beta. Again, not this, not this. What was that? Here it is. Yes. Now this is again most important in every privacy policy. It should be written. If you have any question with respect to this policy, you can contact us at any time. In every privacy policy, nowadays it is most important and mandatory now to write the name of a person to whom a person can contact in case of any grievances. Understood? So as of now, beta, we have understood three things as of now. One is we will write what are the various information we are collecting from the public, how this information will be used from the public, how this information will be stored by the company, how the person can control the information shared by that person, and furthermore, the name of the person to whom we can contact in the case whenever we have any query with respect to the privacy policy. So all these things, the four things as of now, we have understood. Any question, any query with respect to this as of now? I guess no. So yes, basic account information, etc., etc., and etc. You don't have to create an account. This is simple words, beta. They are saying what are the various information we will collect from you. Public information they will collect from you, contact information, address book they will contact from you. So you have to write all these things. Okay, spam, etc., etc., payment information. Now see this, how you control the information you share with us. For example, your privacy and safety setting lets you decide whether your tweets are publicly available on Twitter. Now let me tell you the example of WhatsApp. In a WhatsApp, there is a tab of showing the status to some persons only if you choose that tab. Yes or no? If I remember, there are three tabs: show to my contacts only, show to everyone, and show to selected person, I guess. So these are the three data or tab from where you can control the information you want to share with whom. आपको किसके साथ information share करनी है, you can control this. If I want to share my photos with my family members only, I will just select my family members. If I want to show my pictures to everyone, I will select, I guess, everyone. So that is how you can control your information too. And that is again, we have to write in the privacy policy. How, whether other can tag you in a photos. Yes, this is again a most important for Facebook people. You must have remember an era wherein lot of people used to tag us, and the tag picture will be shown to us in our timeline. But nowadays, if some people tag you, the same picture will not be shown to you in the timeline whenever you not accept this. If you accept, again, that will be shown to you in the timeline. Otherwise, the picture will not be shown to you. So that is how you control the information. And that is the meaning of meaningful. Meaningful control, where we are not giving you the appropriate, or you can say a full control, but that is the meaningful control. Whether you will be able to receive direct message from anyone on Twitter or just your followers. It means, beta, you are controlling some restriction, or you can say you are imposing some restrictions on the working of Twitter. So understood 2 points. How, for example, what are the various information? What are the various information the company will get from you? You have to write all these things. The second thing is that how this information will be used, you have to write. The third thing is that how you can control on this information. And the last one is this, the name of the grievances officer. Additional information we receive about you. Say this. We receive certain information when you use our services or other website. This is most important. Or other website or mobile application that include our content, and from third party including advertisers. So what is the meaning of this? Let me again repeat this, and I will give you one practical example again. For example, what it is saying, we receive certain information when you use other websites that include our content. So what is this? That include our content. For example, I am opening Facebook. Okay. If I am opening a Facebook and here is, let's say, one person tag his Twitter account on the Facebook. I open my Facebook and I just click on that tag. So that tag will enter into the Twitter account. So that is how a Facebook, all the data of my Facebook will be again shown to this Twitter, because I have opened the Twitter through Facebook. That is again most important. Location information, your IP address, your cookies. So what is this cookies? Most important. That is a practical example, beta. Whatsoever you have searched on the Google, whatsoever you have searched on the Google, and something which is on your history tab. For example, I recently searched, let's say, one MacBook on the Google. If I open my LinkedIn profile, YouTube profile, not the YouTube profile, Facebook profile, Twitter account, etc., etc., MacBook advertisement will be shown. Yes, just because of this cookies. A cookie is a small piece of data that is stored on your computer or mobile device. Like many websites, there is no requirement to read this. आप directly भी लिख सकते थे Twitter. Yes, Twitter can also use this directly. We use quickie. We use cookies, but they have written like many websites. That is the beauty of drafting. अगर मैं ऐसा लिखता, we use cookies, it means beta ऐसा लगता, it may impact that only this company is using cookies. It may happen, but they have written very slightly like many websites. Yes, most important point. And that is the beauty of drafting. Like many websites, we use cookies and similar technology to collect additional information, additional website usage data, and to operate our services. That is again most important point. Again, beta, see this log data. You just have to read this log data. What is the meaning of log data? Twitter for web data, advertisement, etc., etc., and etc. Other party and affiliates, again most important. We may receive information about you from third parties who are not our ad partners. For example, Facebook. For example, you just click on the Facebook and you just show one Twitter ID. You click on that Twitter ID, from that your accounts will be shown. So we may receive information about you from third party who are not our ad partner. such as other on Twitter, etc., etc., etc. So you just have to see this. Thereafter, better see this again. This is okay. This is not a problem. Information we share and disclose. Now this is okay. In the limited circumstance where we disclose your private personal data, we do so subject to your control. This is again most important. Let me show you this. As noted above, Twitter is designated to broadly and instantly disseminate information you share publicly. It means beta, whenever you share your information publicly, Twitter will show such information to the public. But whenever you share the information privately, in the limited circumstances where we disclose your private information data, we do so subject to your control. I still remember beta, your date of birth, your gender, etc. All these are the privacy policy of the Facebook also. You can hide all these things. It is important for operating our services or because it is required by law. And you know law very well. Information Technology Act 2000 and Personal Data Protection Bill as of now. Furthermore, beta, this is again most important. In every privacy policy, there will be this clause. This clause is mandatory everywhere. Now let me show you this. For example, if there is a Twitter and you have given the information to the Twitter, one company, let's say Pratik has taken over the business of Twitter. So, sir, whether this information that we have shared with the Twitter will also be passed on with Pratik, yes or no? If you have shared some information with Twitter and some another person has taken over the company, whether the information you have shared with the Twitter will also be transferred to some another person? The answer is yes. Very nice. So that is again this clause, change of ownership clause, most important clause. Every policy, every privacy policy, you will find this. So in the event we are involved in bankruptcy, merger, acquisition, reorganization, sale, your personal data may be sold or transferred as a part of that transaction, because beta, your personal information is the asset for the company to whom you share the information. So they can sell your information to any other third person. I still remember the days. This is very practical information. I was surprised, very surprised. One of my known, he just enrolled for the chartered accountancy course just 2 days back. And you won't believe my statement. Once he enrolled with the Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, he shared various personal information, contact detail, email ID, etc., etc., etc. You know what? Just within 30 minutes, he got a call from one coaching center. Sir, he said, sir, we are the institute providing the coaching for this course. Are you willing to take? You can take a trial class. And he was also surprised that he just shared the information with the Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, how a coaching center can call him. So this is something very important. Yes, Lydia, you have raised your hand. Please go ahead.
It's just a similar example. When I joined the CS, when I went directly to the headquarters, I just signed my information and submitted to them. Half an hour or 1 hour later that night, I'm coming home. There's so many ads, so many like messages, so many emails. People have called me as well. I still get the ads. They like currently wait every time of the year when executive classes happen. They notice, oh, she finished her batch. We'll start giving her more ads. It's very
So there is a clear violation of Right to privacy, don't you think, Lydia? Because you have not given the consent to them to share your
Yes.
information with third person, or you can say
Yes.
the coaching mafias.
Yes, sir.
Yes, that is unfortunately going on in this very, very big prestigious institutes also. I was also surprised that the Institute of Chartered Accountant of India is also doing this. Unfortunately. But there is again a coaching mafia. कोई ना कोई उनके internally होते हैं. They provide all this information to them. Internally, they have someone. That is sure. If anyone would like to share his or her experience also. Yes, Muskan?
That
The
person,
same happened with me.
so
With
that
you?
person could have taken some action.
Yes, Muskan?
That person could have taken some action.
Okay. You want to say that Lydia should initiate a legal suit against the Institute of Company Secretaries of India?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, बेटा पास नहीं करवाएंगे लिद्या को फिर वो.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Lydia will not be able to clear if Lydia initiated a case. Nowadays, I am again would like to say there is a myth in the minds of CS students, chartered accountant students. Chartered accountant students are very bold nowadays. In various cases, I also filed a petition PAL for the chartered accountancy students. So they are very bold now. But when I was filing a PAL for the company secretary students, they said, sir, we cannot give you the registration number because ICSI can fail us. Is it so, Harucha Archana, anyone? Is it so that whether the ICSI can fail if we initiate a legal case against them? Is it so? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. And
Or I don't think so.
No, sir, I don't think so.
And I don't think this is directly from ICSI directly. I feel like it's something from the management that's doing this
Okay.
mafia thing.
But you know, I have very, 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 you can say, examples. You must remember the Corona period in 2020. I filed a PAL before the court to postpone the chartered accountancy exam because they were conducting the exams in the amidst of coronavirus. What they did, the Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, they withheld the result of some students who raised their concern over the Twitter, over the Facebook, etc., etc. They just withheld the result of some students. Later on, some students again filed a PAL in the court, and yes, we won. So, yes, we always have to approach the court, but this is a clear myth that ICSI can fail you, ICAI can fail you. If you have written your exam, no one can fail you because you can get your copy also. No one can fail you. Okay. Yes, but yes, your personal data is being shared by some other person. That is very sure. That is very, very, very sure. Now let's move further. Now see this, most important. We share, okay, and disclose non-personal data. Okay, it means beta, the Twitter is not sharing your personal data with some other third agency at least. But yes, some institutes are sharing, I guess. So we share or disclose non-personal data such as aggregated information like the total number of times people engage with a tweet, demographic, etc., etc., etc. That is okay. But they are not sharing the personal data with any other third persons. They are sharing just simple information with some another third person, and that is okay. Withdrawal consent. So this is again most important. You are just giving the consent to this Twitter policies, privacy policies. Thereafter, beta assistance. This is this. So mota beta. In nutshell, beta. This is again I would say after this personal data protection bill, they have introduced the new privacy policy. So in nutshell, beta, I would like to state 5 things as of now. Whenever you draft a privacy policy, what are the information the company will receive, you have to enter beautifully. The second thing, how this information will be stored, that you have to write. How this information will be used by the company, that you have to write. How this information will be shared or will be processed by company to some another person, to third person, you have to write. Furthermore, there is again a concept of grievances officer. The Twitter also appointed one grievances officer also. So there is again a concept you have to write. Whenever you have any doubt with respect to this policy, you again have to write the name of that person to whom a people can contact. So all these are the part of privacy policy. So whenever you may search the Facebook privacy policy, you may search any privacy policy of IT company now. This is very okay. There is again a general clause that whenever a merger or acquisition take place, we will share your data to that another person. Furthermore, there is again nowadays a general clause that we will not share your personal information with any other third agency. We will not share this. Now, please, if you have any doubt with respect to this privacy policy, you are very much allowed to ask me one by one. Yes, Adarsh, Aditya, Kankita, Arsh. Yes, Prabhat, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Sir, you have said there is a clause that that company will not share personal data with any other agency. So, suppose if suppose any company, Facebook is taking help or operational help from other any tech company. So, Facebook can share your personal data with that company or not.
What you said, Prabhat, Facebook is taking help of?
Taking maintenance or tech support from other companies.
Acha, right. So they will write in their privacy policy. Okay. There is a concept of data fiduciary. I remember there is a concept of data fiduciary. If you must have read personal data protection bill, there is a concept of data fiduciary. If you say, I will explain all these things to you in detail, personal data protection bill. Yes, Prabhat, do you want to learn this?
Yes,
Personal
sir.
data protection bill. How many of you have gone through with this bill as of now? Prabhat, have you gone through with that?
No, sir, but I have read the article on it, but not the
Not
all.
the whole bill.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, see, a very beautiful bill, I can say. And if you have thorough knowledge with respect to this, thorough knowledge, thorough means better thorough. I remember beta, she's my student. She's in the IT department. You won't believe this. She's at the age of 40 or 42. What was the age? 42, I guess. Yes. She's one of my friend also. She's 42 years of age and she's into the IT department. Now she's pursuing LLB. Now she's pursuing law because when she was working with the IT department, suddenly this compliance came and she suddenly inclined toward these compliances, personal data protection bill for growth purpose. So I am pleased. This is most important. Sky is the limit for you if you learn all these things in detail. But अपने दिल पे हाथ रख के देखो बेटा. This is, let's say, let me show you this beta. Just a second. So this was in 2018. And as of now, I am giving you assurance that out of 100, only and only 1 or 2 must have read this as of now. Anyone who have read this as of now, I don't think so that no one would have read this as of now. Ashna, Harucha, Muskan, Prabhat, Adarsh, no one, I guess. किसी ने पढ़ी है अभी तक ये?
No, sir.
कितने नहीं पढ़ी ना? कितनी गलत बात है ये बताओ. Okay. Chalo, no need to worry about the same. Let's plan this. Okay, no need to worry. A day after tomorrow, let's keep a class again so that we can learn this personal data protection bill in the exact manner. What are the various compliances, etc., etc., etc. I will let you know. Okay. But this is most important, most important if you want to work in the IT industry, because they also recruit a compliance officer under this personal data protection bill and various IT professionals laws. Most important. And there is a concept of this. Let me show you section 10. Data storage limitation, lawful processing, most important. Purpose limitation. So all these things are most important. No need to worry about the same data. I will let you know all these things in detail a day after tomorrow. But I request you, all of you, to please read all these things. Whenever some new law come, you should read this in the true manner. कभी भी कोई भी कानून नया पास हो ना बेटा, सबसे पहले उसको पढ़ने की कोशिश किया करो. Let me give you example. GST. When the GST law came into being, the chartered accountants, the lawyers, for example, if I take you my example also, I read this, the GST law. I read this in just 2 or 3 minutes, and उसी में हमने बेटा बहुत अच्छा कमाया था. So whenever new law came, you should read as soon as possible, because there is a venue for you. After that, for example, GST law, now it is very easy. A GST return can be filed in 100 rupees also. But this is not good. So whenever new law come, you should read as soon as possible. Thereafter, you will get a job suddenly. I am giving you the assurance. Furthermore, but I also request you to side by side prepare for the examination. After the completion of this course, we will have one examination with the whole coverage of the course. The top 5 performers will be given an opportunity to have an interview with top law firms and top companies. I can provide you this: top law firms and top law companies. So I am giving assurance. Furthermore, apart from top 5 performers, all who have cleared, you should clear first of all. All who have cleared will get the assistance, so that you must be placed somewhere. That is, I am giving you a guarantee. All right. If you again have a doubt, you are again very much allowed to ask. Yes, beta, no doubt. Ashna, Adarsh, Aditya, Akantrita. I guess no doubt, sir. Just try to see the privacy policy of Facebook, privacy policy of Zomato. Most important is privacy policy of Zomato, privacy policy of Swiggy. Most important. Okay, and do let me know a day after tomorrow. Thank you so much, everyone. Please take care, stay safe, keep learning, keep growing. Thank you.